Teams will get better. Teams will get worse. Teams will fix their mistakes. That's today's draft. And I have a feeling that since I haven't received the text message with the quiet, say, I gotta answer your question from you. What do you got?
Okay, here we go. And I haven't even read this, so sorry. I should have previewed it a little to see if it was too hard. I could have adjusted, but the hell with you. I hope it is too hard. Dak Prescott had a perfect passer rating, 158.3 versus the New York Giants. Who is the only other Cowboys QB to pull that off in a regular season game?
Wow. It's just a wild guess, right?
Totally wild, yes, totally.
Right. I mean, as long as it's a Cowboys quarterback. I mean, it is a fairly narrow universe.
It is a Cowboys quarterback. Yes, there's a little bit one that's under the radar. I'll help you with that. Okay, it's not.
No, I don't want any. Okay, let me go Gary Hogaboom.
Okay, good one for under the radar. You were wrong about that. That would be Craig Morton, yes, who ended up actually playing the Cowboys in the Super Bowl as the quarterback of the Broncos, which is actually a kind of cool
and had one of the worst performances ever. Not a perfect passer rating against the Cowboys in that 27-10 loss in Super Bowl number 12.
I always think of that play in that game too, where the guy for the Cowboys catches the ball in the end zone and the ball flies out. Like that wouldn't be a touchdown, right? I mean, damn, we should go back. We should go back and replay it. Let's call Al River on and just let's redo the record books. I don't know.
You're talking about getting the two teams together?
Yeah, let's replay
years
it. Let's get Staubach out there, Craig Morton, and let's go at it again.
All right, what's your first pick?
Okay, my first pick. Okay, and our draft is teams, players that can fix their mistakes. Okay, so I am going to go with the New York Giants is number one, okay? Just because this is the most glaring thing that happened this weekend to where they can fix this mistake, and it's real easy. It's a real easy fix. Oh, that's right. Get the ball, Saquon Barkley, the ball more. Get him the freaking ball more. How does he only get 11 rushes? How does he only get 14 touches in general? I mean, that can be fixed for sure. They just got to find more creative ways, pass game, run game. They got to ride him a little harder than just 11 carries. He's just too talented, as we saw in the game in general. So, again, I don't know if that's going to lead to a victory, but I certainly think getting the ball in his hands increases their chances of a victory as far as the New York Giants, and going to help out the rest of that offense for sure. He's the best running back in football, and they just can't give him the ball that few at times in a given football game.
Yeah, I think that's the obvious first pick here because this is the guy through whom the offense is supposed to run.
Right.
And I thought they had figured that out late last year. Apparently they haven't. It's on Pat Shurmur to make full advantage of a guy who is arguably the best running back in the NFL right now, but it's hard for him to prove it if he's not getting the opportunities. He's got to get the ball more than 11 times. The offense has to run through him, and if he's not running the ball, he needs to be catching the ball, but he needs to be the tone setter for the Giants if they're going to have any chance to win more games than they lose. All right, not a bad choice. Kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Rigged. Now, we've gone from the rigged coin toss to the rigged trivia question because Craig Morton, give me a guy that's played in the last 50 years for crying out loud. All right, I'm going to go with Chicago Bears because it's impossible for them to continue to be as bad as they were last Thursday night on offense. And we talk so much about Vic Fangio, the former Bears defensive coordinator, now the coach of the Broncos, welcoming the Bears to Denver. Well, for as much as Fangio knows the offensive personnel knows Fangio, and they know what Fangio does. And you could argue the Bears' defensive personnel better right now than what's left from the Broncos Super Bowl 50 championship team. Bradley Chubb, and Von Miller, no sacks last week, although they may be even more determined to get to Mitchell Trubisky. But I think that with the extra time to get ready, think about that. Extra time for the Bears, short week for the Broncos. That also makes it easier for the Bears to fix their mistakes and go against a guy that Matt Nagy, the coach of the Bears, should have a feel for how this is going to play out. So I think it's easier for the Bears than I thought it was going to be to get their footing back and erase the first loss of the season that they experienced last week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you there. I mean, they got talent. They got a good coach. They got a good offensive line. You'd think they'd be able to fix their problems. Trubisky certainly needs to play better. It wasn't perfect My big question, and I know we talked about this last Friday after the game, I just don't know what they are on offense, right? We had that conversation, and I got to see that because, there's got to be something, again, that forces the defense's hand in a football game to open up everything else. And the Bears kind of do everything, but there's not one thing I look at and go, ooh, that is amazing they do that, and that's going to give defenses an issue. They got to figure out that one thing, and I think they will do that. So not a bad pick by you. They were certainly on my list. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns as my next pick. Yeah, the Cleveland Browns offense, especially. That's the unit I'm going with, the offense. They can fix the mistakes that they made in week 2. One, Baker Mayfield has shown he's able to take criticism, going back to the drawing board, keep fighting, get better. Gosh, the day I was there, Mike, at practice in Cleveland during August, I was supposed to talk to him and interview him. He didn't have a great practice, and he wanted to lock himself in the film room and kind of beat himself up and go over the things he did wrong. And they told me that's kind of status quo for what Baker Mayfield does if a practice doesn't meet up to his expectations. So I think you can fix that. Of course, they have talent. And the big thing, Mike, and you've heard me say this a little already, get back. They won football games last year when Freddie Kitchens took over because he was run first. He got into more power run formations, and he played play action pass and took deep shots off of that. They ran the ball with Nick Chubb 17 times on Sunday, and that at base level looks okay. But like 6 of those runs or 7 of those runs when the game was over, it was late in the fourth quarter and it was over. They were just token runs like, let's get out of here, let's keep the clock moving and going. They became too one-dimensional, shotgun, and I think Freddie Kitchen got a little enamored with, I have Jarvis and I got Baker and I got Odell Beckham Jr., and we're going to throw the ball all over the place. And let's not forget that they have a great running back and they can control the game and help their quarterback if they do run the ball a little bit more.
But, that gets back to the point that there's only one football. How do you keep all those guys happy if you are going to commit to a power running game? Odell Beckham Jr. is going to want the ball. Jarvis Landry is going to want the ball. These are guys who on different teams in the early years of their career, they had phenomenal numbers of catches. You can't get both guys the football. As much as they want to be on the same team, only one guy is going to be catching that pass. And if they're running the ball, neither's catching the pass.
Well, yeah, but it's not that they need to just run the ball all day long, too. They just can't be in the shotgun, we're going to spread it out all day long. They have some good tight ends there. They're a better run-blocking offensive line than pass-blocking offensive line. And, yeah, they might not get as many catches, but I think the quality of their catches, the explosive plays and everything that we want to see on highlight reels, that will go up if they kind of force the defense's hand a little bit to stop the run game. It's going to lead to more favorable matchups on the outside. And they can put those 2 receivers on the field with 2 tight ends and a Nick Chubb and really put teams in a New England type bind. Oh, wait, man. Now David Njoku split out. I don't trust my tight end my linebacker to cover this tight end. What do I do? Now the next play they're in a power run formation. Ooh, this is tough. They have the pieces to kind of make teams uncomfortable. They don't need to reinvent the wheel there in Cleveland.
We didn't know what to make of the Atlanta Falcons coming into the season.
Yeah.
New offensive coordinator, new special teams coordinator, Dan Quinn serving as the defensive coordinator. They kind of walked into a buzzsaw in Minnesota. It's always tough to go into that building and win. It's set up. The way that roof is pitched and the way the angles are, the sound ends up being directed at the opposing sideline. It is an unpleasant experience when you are in that new building, still only 3 years old in Minnesota. And also, home opener, blocked punt on that first drive by the Falcons. The Vikings score a touchdown, and that just sets the tone. Ugly interceptions from Matt Ryan on the next drive.
Right.
14-0. How do you climb out of that week 1 in another team's building? It is not easy to do. They did try. They had a nice drive after it was 14-0. But it never got clicking for them until the game was out of hand. I think this is a team that can settle down. And I know, look, big stage against the Eagles on Sunday Night Football, but I think they can settle down, get back to 0-0, start the game from scratch, and if you avoid those big mistakes early, you're going to be in a position where you can hang around. And we know the Falcons have played the Eagles tough. Even though the Falcons lost to them last year in week 1, they lost them in the divisional round of the playoffs, the Falcons have played them tough, and this may be an opportunity for the Falcons to change a very ugly narrative coming out of week 1, and I think they've got the personnel to do it.
Yeah, I don't disagree there. Matt Ryan was on my list too to fix those problems, but you said it. 2 early turnovers. They're down 14-0. Then they drive down the field. They're in field goal position, and they run the ball, and Devontae Freeman fumbles on like the 18 or 19-yard line going in. And even saying that, there they are in the third quarter. It's only 21-0, and they're first and goal at the 2 or 3 yard line. And Matt Ryan throws just a horrible interception in the back in the end zone that really kind of put the nail in the coffin, and that was it. So I hear you there. There's certainly potential there for them to fix that, and enough good players. Jaguars defense will be my round 3 pick. Okay, well, yeah. What the Jaguars, a team that I believe they can fix their mistakes and improve to week 2. Yeah, I do. First off, they're not playing the Kansas City Chiefs and freaking Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, who's an absolute mastermind on bye weeks and first week of the season. That's the damn scariest first week matchup, and you can hope for if you're a defense. Damn, we got to deal with all that talent. Patrick Mahomes throwing balls everywhere, and that I think that Jaguars defense is still extremely talented, and I have worries about that Texans offense in general, that it's too Hopkins, Watson oriented, and I'm still worried about their pass protection issues there in Houston.
I'm going with the Panthers. I think the Panthers should have won week 1 against the Rams. I'm not willing to let that one go because I thought the Panthers would win. They get the Buccaneers. Jameis Winston has lost 12 in a row on the road. Christian McCaffrey, a beast. Too many mistakes made last week by the Panthers. They need to iron those out. If they do, they should win this one easily, and we'll have a different vibe about the Panthers heading into week 3. All right, that's it for the draft. We have to take a quick break. When we return, Chris, you suggested yesterday you'd be interested to see the injury report for the Houston Texans as it relates to quarterback Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
Bill O'Brien has given us a sneak peek. We'll talk about that when PFT Live continues right after this.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.